Two legends, one impossible role. When country superstar Vince Gill joined the Eagles in 2017, fans from both the country and rock worlds were stunned. Gill, long respected in Nashville for his songwriting and guitar skills, was stepping into the most scrutinized position imaginable, replacing the late Glenn Frey, co-founder and voice of some of the Eagles' biggest hits. It was a move no one saw coming, including Gill himself. He later revealed that the invitation came straight from Don Henley, who told him, "You're the only guy I wanted." That statement alone shook Gill. Frey's death in 2016 had left the band's future uncertain. Even Henley had initially said the Eagles were finished, but after long conversations, the group decided to continue, not to replace Frey, but to honor him. And Gill, though humbled, was honest about the weight he felt stepping into such a revered space. Performing those first shows wasn't easy. Gill admitted he was nervous every single time he took the stage. Fans were divided. Some welcomed his voice and talent, while others felt Frey's shoes were simply too big to fill. Gill didn't push back. He didn't claim the spotlight. Instead, he showed vulnerability, telling interviewers that the emotional and professional pressure was immense. It was a rare moment of honesty from an artist at his level, and that confession deeply resonated with the public. What many fans didn't know was that Gill and Frey had shared a mutual respect over the years. Gill often spoke of how much he admired Frey, not just for his music, but for how he supported younger musicians. That personal connection added weight to every performance. Gill never tried to imitate Frey. He made it clear, this wasn't about replacing someone. It was about honoring a legacy, and that's what made his confession so powerful. It wasn't just about nerves or legacy. It was about love, for the music, for the band, and most of all, for the man he stepped in to honor. Vince Gill didn't just join the Eagles. He gave fans a reason to believe the music could still matter, even after the unthinkable loss of Glenn Frey. You could see it in every performance, Vince Gill taking on Glenn Frey's parts with quiet reverence. Some critics questioned if it was the right move, but for most fans in the audience, those moments felt deeply respectful. It was never about replacing Frey. It was about carrying his spirit forward, allowing fans to continue hearing the music they loved performed live. And Gill took that responsibility seriously. Before joining the Eagles, Gill was already a towering figure in country music, with over 20 Grammy Awards and millions of albums sold. His smooth voice, emotional lyrics, and impeccable guitar skills had made him a Nashville legend. Songs like Go Rest High on That Mountain and When I Call Your Name showed how deeply he could connect with listeners. That made his move to one of America's most iconic rock bands all the more surprising. Some fans wondered, could a country star really step into a rock legacy like the Eagles? But Gill brought with him a versatility few others had. Over the years, he'd proven himself in traditional country, bluegrass, and guitar-driven sessions. Those who thought of him primarily as a vocalist were often stunned by his precision as a lead guitarist. He may have had doubts at first. Some close to him say he hesitated, but Gill embraced the role as a new chapter, not a departure. By his first concert with the Eagles, any uncertainty began to fade. His ability to blend in, both vocally and musically, won over even skeptical fans. Critics noted that his restraint, learned from decades as a session player, allowed him to support the music without overshadowing it. His guitar tone added color, his voice, warmth. It wasn't showy, but it was right. And over time, many realized that not every country star could have made it work. This was something uniquely suited to Gill's approach. In interviews, he's acknowledged the strange space he occupies. Part country icon, part Eagle. He even admitted that some diehard fans may never fully accept him in the lineup. And that's okay. He wasn't there to prove anything. Instead, he walked the line with humility, honoring both his roots and the Eagles' legacy without forcing either. One choice that stood out to fans early on: Gill never performed his own hits during Eagles shows. Songs like Whenever You Come Around or Go Rest High on That Mountain were left off the set lists entirely, despite their popularity. It wasn't a mistake. It was intentional. Gill and Henley had agreed from the start. This was about preserving the Eagles' identity. Even when Henley once heard Gill playing "Whenever You Come Around" during soundcheck and offered to include it in a show, Gill declined. For him, this wasn't a platform to showcase his solo career. It was a tribute, a service, a way to keep the Eagles' music alive without blurring the lines. And in doing so, Vince Gill showed a rare blend of talent, restraint, and grace, proof that sometimes the best way to stand out is to honor what came before. Gill politely declined when Don Henley suggested adding one of his solo songs to an Eagles set list. Though rumors swirled about behind-the-scenes tension, Gill quickly shut them down with one simple truth. It was never about ego. It was about honoring the Eagles, giving fans what they came for, and keeping the band's identity intact. That choice, quiet but powerful, defined Gill's role in the group. Even when it meant letting go of songs that meant a lot to him personally, he knew the spotlight wasn't his to claim. Some wondered if there was ever pressure to sneak one of his hits in, especially as the tour neared its end. But Gill never budged. His role wasn't to rewrite the show, it was to serve it. And that humility, that deep respect for what came before him, earned admiration from fans and even a few skeptical critics. Sharing the stage with Joe Walsh brought its own dynamic. Walsh, known for his wild solos and larger-than-life energy, might have clashed with another guitarist, but Gill and Walsh clicked instantly. Trading guitar licks on songs like Funk Number 49 and Life's Been Good felt more like a musical conversation than competition. Add in longtime touring member Stuart Smith, whose technical precision carried the weight of Don Felder's legacy, and newcomer Chris Holt, and the Eagles' guitar section became a layered, seamless machine. Gill fit into that structure naturally. He's often said the band works as a true unit, not a collection of egos. Each guitarist plays for the song, not for themselves. Even after decades in the spotlight, Gill embraced his role as a guest, supporting, not leading. There are whispers that he sometimes kept to himself backstage, careful not to intrude on decades of band history. He never addressed those rumors, but his on-stage presence spoke volumes. When others took the lead, he stepped back. When it was his time, he delivered with grace. This balance became one of the most surprising and admirable parts of his tenure with the band. Gill, a man with a storied career of his own, never tried to reshape the Eagles around him. Instead, he shaped himself to fit their legacy, and in doing so, proved that humility could shine just as brightly as charisma. He could have taken more space, but he didn't, and that's exactly what made him stand out. Still, even his measured approach couldn't protect him from the criticism that came early on. Some of the Eagles' most devoted fans struggled with the idea of anyone filling Glenn Frey's shoes. Online forums and concert chatter reflected doubts. Could a country artist really carry the weight of one of rock's most beloved voices? Gill didn't ignore it. He acknowledged the backlash in interviews and responded with honesty, "I don't sing like Glenn, and I don't pretend to." That candor set the tone. Rather than mimic Frey, he treated every performance as a tribute. He understood the emotional attachment fans had to these songs. For many, they weren't just music, they were memory. Some wondered whether a sound-alike would have made more sense, or whether the band should have stopped altogether. Gill took none of it personally. If anything, he seemed to understand the grief behind the comments. Rumors floated that he considered walking away during those early, difficult months. Whether true or not, it reveals just how heavy the expectations were. But Gill stayed the course. He didn't push back. He let the music speak. Night after night, Vince Gill honored Eagles classics like New Kid in Town with heartfelt respect, never replacing Glenn Frey, but preserving his legacy. Though some fans were hesitant, most praised Gill's sincere dedication. After decades solo, joining the Eagles meant grueling tours that tested his stamina, especially on the 2023 Long Goodbye Tour, which earned acclaim for its heartfelt energy and Gill's role in maintaining the band's spirit. A lover of American roots music, Gill blends humbly into the Eagles' classic sound. While offstage, he plays with Nashville's Time Jumpers. Now at 68, as the farewell tour ends, fans wonder if he'll return to solo work, collaborations, or intimate shows, always true to his roots. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and check out the next video. See you there.